Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Music and Logic. I'm thrilled to have you join me as we dive into the world of Python programming. Let's get started with the Python tutorial part 1. In this series, we'll start with the fundamentals and work our way up to more advanced topics. In today's video, we'll cover what Python is, a little overview of this versatile programming language, and the key features of Python, what makes Python stand out, Python 2 versus Python 3, understand the differences between both Python 2 and Python 3, and what are the applications and use cases of Python, and learn about the best tools for writing and managing your Python code, and also we'll write and run the classic Hello World program to get you started. Be sure to subscribe and follow along as we dive into these exciting topics. Let's get started. Now let's start with what Python is. Python is a high-level programming language. This means it's designed to be easy to read and write, resembling human language more closely than lower-level languages like C or assembly. And it is also interpreted, which means you can run Python code directly without needing to compile it first. This makes coding in Python very convenient and quick for testing and debugging. Now let's talk about history of Python. Python was created by Guido van Rossum in the late 1980s, but the language was officially released to the public on February 20th, 1991. Guido's goal was to make a language that was fun to use and easy to read. And guess what? He drew inspiration from the British comedy group Monty Python, which is why the language is named Python. They're known for their humor and creativity, and I think you will find Python to be quite creative and fun too. Coming to evolution of Python, Python has evolved quite a bit over the years. Python 2 was released in the year 2000. It brought many improvements and features, but it also had its quirks. In 2008, Python 3 was introduced. This version was a major overhaul of the language aimed at fixing flaws and improving consistency. Although Python 2 and Python 3 are not entirely compatible, Python 3 is now the standard version we use. Now, what makes Python so special? Let's go over some of its key features. Python is designed with simplicity in mind. Its syntax is clean and easy to read, making it an excellent choice for beginners. You don't need to write a lot of code to perform simple tasks, which means you can focus more on learning concepts rather than getting bogged down by complex syntax. And Python is an interpreted language, which means that the code is executed line by line. This makes debugging easier and faster because you can immediately see where errors occur, allowing you to fix them quickly. And in Python, you don't need to declare the type of a variable when you write your code. The type is determined at runtime, which provides flexibility and reduces the amount of boilerplate code. This dynamic nature allows you to focus more on problem solving. And Python is truly cross platform, meaning that you can run your Python code on various operating systems such as Windows, Mac OS, and Linux without any modifications. These feature makes it versatile and convenient for development in different environments. And Python is open source, which means that it's free to use and distribute. It has a large active community that contributes to its continuous development and improvement. This also means you have access to a wealth of resources, libraries, and tools that can enhance your projects. And Python comes with a rich standard library that provides modules and functions for everything from file input output and system calls to web development and data manipulation. This reduces the need to write code from scratch, speeding up the development process. When learning Python, you might hear about Python 2 and Python 3. Let's discuss the differences between these two versions and why it's important to understand them. Firstly, Python 2 is the older version of the language, and while it was popular for many years, it has since been replaced by Python 3. One of the key things to note is that Python 2 reached its end of the life on January 1st, 2020, which means it no longer receives updates or support from the Python community. And one of the biggest challenges between Python 2 and Python 3 is that they are not fully compatible. Python 2 scripts won't run in a Python 3 environment and vice versa. This incompatibility can be a major issue for developers who need to maintain or update older Python 2 code. And migrating an application from Python 2 to Python 3 is often seen as a difficult task. It's not just a simple upgrade, it involves changing code that may have been written years ago. This process can be time consuming, expensive, and risky, especially for large applications. This is why some legacy systems still run on Python 2. When coming to the Python 3 overview, it is a current version of the language and it has been around since 2008. Python 3 is designed to improve upon Python 2, introducing new features and removing outdated ones. As it continues to evolve, Python 3 is establishing new standards and best practices within the Python community. And why Python 3 matters? Learning Python today means learning Python 3. It's the version that's actively developed and supported with a growing number of libraries and tools being built specifically for Python 3. It's the future of Python, and if you're starting from fresh, Python 3 is the way to go. Here are some of the applications and use cases of Python. Python is a popular language because you can use it for so many different things. Let's look at some of the main areas where Python is commonly used. And the first one is web development. For example, let's say you want to create a blog where you can share your thoughts. With Python and a tool like Django, you can build a simple blog website that lets you write, edit, and publish posts online. And the second one is data science and analytics. Imagine you have a spreadsheet with sales data. Using Python's Pandas library, you can easily calculate the total sales, find the best selling product, or create a chart to visualize your data. And the third one is machine learning and artificial intelligence. Think about how Netflix recommends movies based on what you have watched before. Python can be used to build a similar recommendation system that suggests movies you might like to based on your past preferences. And the fourth one is automation and scripting. Let's say you have 100 photos that you need to rename. Instead of doing it by hand, you can write a small Python script that renames all the files for you in seconds. And the fifth one is game development. With Pygame, you can create a simple game like Snake where the player controls a snake that grows longer as it eats food. It's a fun way to learn Python programming while building something you can play. And the embedded systems, imagine you have a small device that controls the lights in your house. With Python, you can program this device to turn the lights on or off automatically at certain times of the day. And the last one is cybersecurity. Let's say you want to check if your website is secure. You can write a Python script that scans your site for common vulnerabilities, helping you fix security issues before someone else finds them. Setting up an environment is very important. Before we start coding in Python, we need to set up our environment. This means downloading Python and choosing a tool to write and run our code known as an IDE. The first step is to visit the official Python website. You can download the latest version of Python from there. It's free and works on all major operating systems like Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. And firstly, what is IDE? An IDE or Integrated Development Environment is a special software that makes it easier to write and test your code. It often includes features like syntax highlighting, code suggestions, and built-in tools to run and debug your programs. And let's look at some of the popular IDEs that you can use for Python programming. And the first one is PyCharm. It's a powerful IDE that's great for both beginners and experienced developers. It has many features that help you write and debug your code effectively. And the second one is VS Code, which is Visual Studio Code. It's a lightweight but powerful editor. It's very popular because it's fast, customizable, and supports many programming languages, including Python. And the third one is Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is perfect for data science and machine learning. It allows you to write code in small chunks and see the results immediately, which is great for experimenting and visualizing data. And the fourth one is Pyder. It's another good choice, especially for specific computing. It's simple and has features like a variable explorer, which lets you see the data you're working with in real time. And the last would be Thorny. Thorny is an excellent IDE for beginners. It's easy to use and designed to help you learn Python with features that simplify debugging and code execution. And I would say choosing the right IDE depends on what you plan to do with Python. For example, if you're into web development, PyCharm or VS Code might be the best choice. And if you're focused on data science, Jupyter Notebook could be more useful. And if you're just starting out, Thorny is a great way to begin. So, here is our first ever popular Python program, Hello World. After setting up the environment, open your preferred IDE or text editor. Create a new file named hello.py. So, here I would like to tell you that every Python file is saved with .py extension. And now type the following code in your text editor and save the file. After that, navigate to the directory where hello.py is saved. Type python hello.py or python3 hello.py and press enter. You should see the output hello world. So this is your first program, hello world. And the print function is used to display output in Python, and hello world is a string literal, which is a sequence of characters enclosed in quotes. So here is a question for you all. Answer yourself or comment down the answer below. Thank you all for watching. Today we have covered introduction to our Python programming. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to stay updated with more videos. Don't forget to check out our next video on the topic basic syntax, indentation, comments and more. And I'll see you in the next video. Happy coding. Bye bye.